Now available with your Fleeb or Blippo Plus subscription. It's ChillPoint.
I like the idea of getting a prescription for streaming.
He's doctor. I need a prescription.
Yeah, for Disney Plus.
Please,
my son, he is annoying.
I have a fever, and the only prescription is streaming service. Hey, everybody.
I didn't realize I had so much power before the show just to be like, oh, well, my mic's at least plugged in. And suddenly the other two are like, it is, right? Okay, cool.
There was somebody...
Look, we've started shows with mics unplugged before.
Oh, yeah.
It's just good to check.
I did see a thing on Tumblr the other day where somebody was like, okay, but legit, I was doing the dishes or something, and then when I was finishing, because they were really distracted, like not really thinking clearly, and when they were kind of done, it's like, okay, I'm done, I'm sick of this, I'm just going to sit down and maybe I'll just go watch Goncharov. And then he said, and then I realized it's not a real movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how online do you have to be that you have like immersed yourself in the fakeness of that movie and all the lore surrounding the fakeness of that movie and then being like, shit, I should go watch that. And then you're like, oh shit, right, no, I got myself, right? And then somebody's like, yeah, no, they took it off Poob. You can't watch it anymore.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to ChillPoint, the show where we talk about video game news.
Oh.
As well as exciting developments in the world of fake online streaming services.
Mm-hmm. Let's do that one more. I can't remember. Was the video game news positive this week?
Everybody calls it Blippo, right? Like we're all saying Blippo right now, but I'm like, we were literally on Blip.tv back in the day. That
Blippo.
and Rever. Yep. And I'm like, we could just bring those names back and use those to make fun of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Paul used Hoopla.
Yeah.
Which
Hoopla is a real one.
I thought was really great. Where they both just stopped and they were like, that one might be real, right?
Yeah.
And I like that you were like, yes, that is real. I'm not gonna
get your shit on Quibi.
Yeah, Hoopla and Canopy are the two ones. I don't know if they're associated with the library.
Yeah, Hoopla is something we can get through our library here.
Yeah, and same with Canopy.
Oh, really?
And they have good stuff on them.
They're interesting things. They're worth looking at because it's not like looking through other stuff where you're like...
They do also have like a lot of first run, general first run
but they'll
movies.
have like things that you've never heard of as well that because it's just part of your library card, you might as well check out, right? We all have infinite time on this planet to do that, yes?
But yeah, it's...
Nobody signed on for that subscription practice of immortality?
God, that sounds like fun.
Life Plus.
You should consider it.
I was going to do it, but then they did like the ad-supported version, and I was like, I don't like that.
You'd rather just go to the good place, right?
Oh, no one wants to go to the good place.
It looked pretty nice.
Yeah, sure. If you like flying shrimp.
I love Froyo.
Hey, everybody. Let's talk about some of the stuff that was in this week's episode of Checkpoint. Starting with the Mario, Hello Mario little app.
Yeah.
Where you can pull on Mario's face. And that's kind of... It's funny. A lot of the coverage of this is like, oh, there's a new app from, Nintendo. You can pull Mario's face. And people are like, I don't get it. What's the point? It's like... It's for little kids.
Yeah.
It might be
ages 4 and up.
It might be a good pet game. They make those pet games, right, where things flash around.
Like Fruit Ninja
stuff.
for cats, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not the face stretching part, but it sounded like there was like some other things that you had to tap on and stuff.
You can
I don't know. Maybe it'll be good for your fur baby.
I want to. There is a note of cynicism to this.
There's always a note of cynicism to these things.
Right. And there's the...
People need to stop with the cinnamon.
Right.
Too much cinnamonicism.
Because like when I was reading the things, I was like, do I want to do a story on this or not? I ended up going for the one that I went for. But I was like, I like that this exists because it's it is just a
This was
fun
Nelson?
thing. Nelson wrote
Yeah,
this.
Nelson.
Yeah, okay.
And just like a fun thing of like, yeah, if you give a kid like a thing in their hands that they can pull on and they can play like Stretch Armstrong or whatever, like, but like that kind of idea of like get a thing and you can pull it and you can reshape it and you can do stuff with it and play around and it, you have effects and like that kind of thing. I'm like, that's cool. That's all fine. It is a beloved corporate mascot in this case,
Right.
And we've kind of like
want to get those kids in early.
well, and that's the thing, right? Where I'm like, the cynicism here is it's like, oh yeah, you want to give your kids obviously something that is associate positive feelings with this. This is also like through the like Pokemon apps and other things like that, being like, what are some things we can do for 3 and 4 year olds? So like, let's show them Pokemon Sleep or Pokemon Teeth or whatever the thing is, right?
Yeah.
I don't think people. Please don't tell me people are using Pokemon Sleep for their toddlers. I don't think that is designed for that.
No, but like
the teeth one, yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of that kind of thing of like, well, anything we can do to support a lifestyle embedded in the stuff that we make. On the one hand, it's like, this is all nice stuff that a kid can look at Mario and play with stretching his face and be like, this is fun. And they'll have a good time with that, and that's sufficient. There is also that step beyond it where it's like, and they create positive memories playing with Mario in this way, and that will then they will have more positive memories playing with Mario games and other Mario things and all that kind of stuff, and therefore that helps to support the end goal of the business, which is to continue to do, to continue to make stuff and sell things. And it's like there's a cynicism there, but I'm like, there's nothing innately wrong with I'm having a good time playing with the game or a toy.
Or you're an adult and you're like, well, I know Mario is typically a safe thing.
Yes.
So I don't have to research that.
Yeah, I don't need
because
to
I don't
know-
have a bunch of time to research everything that my child is into.
Yeah.
I will say
Or
that
in the case of Pokemon Teeth, I feel like that's less about getting kids to enjoy Pokemon and more about kids already like Pokemon.
Yeah,
So they'll want to use the Pokemon app that teaches them to brush their teeth.
Yeah, they're drawn to the bright colors. They're drawn to the cute shapes. The very soft, roundy, whatever. Like, I mean, that's whenever anybody makes anything for kids, there is that sense of the vast majority of things that you make for like really young kids all kind of have the similar attributes, right? It's either it's round, like we take the edges off, big eyes, kind of like a very expressive face.
I saw
Nothing too detailed.
I saw a great I think it was just like a YouTube short or whatever.
Yeah.
Yesterday it was like a guy talking about, it's like, well, I've made a big mistake. See, my wife and I have been getting into some Warhammer 40,000 painting models and this kind of stuff. And then my 6-year-old daughter now wants to get involved. And what set did she choose? And this little girl holds up, it's the like Tyranid hive monster thing. It's like a Tyranid.
Is it like just a big thing?
It's like a massive bat-winged creature, and it's like, what's the part you like about it the best? And she's like, I like that it has a scorpion tail.
Oh my god! Wow!
And he's like, she's 6. I've made such a big mistake.
Kids, all kids are all different ways.
It's like, how expensive a kid is to raise without the Warhammer.
Yeah. So you want to be cynical.
Oh my god!
I have a hard time watching anything that has little kids on it in Instagram Reels and things, because most of the time that stuff is heavily staged.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it is, to me, it's also a little bit like waiting for all of the books and media that's going to come out about these kids who've been traumatized by their parents.
I mean, it's
because
already...
there's such a negative way that can go, and I'm not saying that they're all doing that, because I want to buy into the idea of that's really cute and this thing is happening and I love that this is going on.
It's especially when that becomes like a brand thing.
Yeah.
If it's like, this is the channel that's like me and my kids. If it's usually, I'm like, if it's like just like a one-off thing that somebody just happens to be doing,
it's usually
that's
fine.
cool,
it's just like I've seen the stories of like
it can definitely go bad. Yeah.
The parents who are basically just cashing in on their kid and now have quit their jobs and
I think
won't let their kids quit being stars and
But
that kind
even-
of thing. And it makes it hard to watch the stuff that is probably innocent and just fine without that lingering in the back of my head now all the time.
There's a feeling that I get where it's like, imagine if you were like a kid, like imagine when you were a kid, right? Or you've seen like old family photos, or maybe you even had old family videos, depending on your age. Just the things that are internal to your house. And then imagine what it would be like if a picture from when you were like 4 or whatever, and you do some really like cute thing, but it's kind of a little embarrassing, but maybe it's not. Maybe it isn't embarrassing, but it's just like you did a cute thing. And then you go to school, first day of school, grade 1, and you're like a month into school and you're kind of making friends and everything seems to be going okay. And then somebody says to you, oh, yeah, my mom showed me a video of something you did last year or whatever, like that kind of thing, right? And you're like, what? And then they bring it up on their iPad and they show it to you, and you're like, why do you have this? Right? Like, how do you know about this thing? Like, why do you have that? And then there are other kids in the class who maybe don't like you as much or whatever, and they use this opportunity to like make fun of you or whatever. But you're kind of just even struck as like, why do you have that? You know, my mom took that picture, or my mom took that video or whatever. I don't like it for whatever reason, and now my friends are looking at it, and it's like, why are they doing that? And why are there 100,000 people who are looking at it?
I feel like for kids of that generation, the idea that it is online and available isn't that mysterious to them.
It might not be, right? But there is just that sense even of nobody's trying to monetize it. It's just that, I shared it on Facebook. Somebody else shared it, and then it went everywhere.
Some family members to be like, hey, we took pictures during our wedding. Yeah. Please don't just put them online. I didn't on your Facebook and stuff. Yeah. I would really prefer you didn't.
They're for you. Keep them for yourself, but they're not for anybody else.
And I know that seems weird because if you're just kind of a person on Facebook and you're like, nobody knows who I am, whatever. But when you do streams and you've got people who know who you are, and you're like, there's certain things I just don't want to share with you, which it's not because they're particularly interesting. It's just I don't want to. So I need to stop my family from doing it.
So it's
anyway.
Yeah. The thing about the Mario game as well, though, is I'm like, we kind of had some answers to that a long time ago, where it's like, well, you make Sesame Street, right? You have a bunch of cute puppets and stuff, and the kids interact with that, and they really love that. But then naturally, what happens over time is somebody's like, well, I can get a baby blanket with Kermit on it, or I can get like a whole bedroom's set of like sheets and shit for my kid's bed that has like Cookie Monster. And it's like, right. And then the slow creeping of, and then I can get like a doll for my kid that's made of whatever. Okay. And then I can get like a big plastic playhouse for them that has like all these others, has like fucking Big Bird on it. And it's like, right. The slow creeping thing of the commercialization of what you might want to think of like, well, this is supposed to be, it's like, yeah, but at the same time, the kids also want to have a Big Bird in their house, and they want to have, have Oscar the Grouch in their house.
I was scared of Big Bird as a kid.
Sure, but just because he was so big?
I thought he was hiding in my closet, and I was terrified.
Okay. So there's that too.
Fair.
I thought Big Bird's face was scary. I mean, he's big too, but like his face was just really scary for me. Mm-hmm. And he hid in my closet as far as I was concerned. That was the monster in my closet.
I feel like he did hide in the closet, like, because there was like a movie where he was lost or something.
Oh, was there?
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, I have to say I was slightly disappointed after seeing the game that it isn't like the 3D, like the actual, like it isn't like the actual Mario 64
it's a 2D flat surface.
Like it's just a flat thing.
Yeah.
You don't get to spin his head around and stuff.
Skew.
Yeah, I guess if you really wanted like the more nostalgic factor for it, it would have been the Nintendo 64 looking one, right?
Yeah.
Which would have also, I think, been kind of more terrifying for children. Maybe.
Anyway.
I mean, they did put, didn't they put that in Mario Odyssey? Isn't there like
the face stretching?
Yeah, I thought there was like a thing in the world where everything's like a throwback to like Mario 64, where like surprised. I think you could stretch his face, or no, maybe it was the puzzle thing where you put the face together.
I don't remember.
I know there's There's a
Chat,
couple.
you back me up, right? You know what I'm talking about.
There's a couple of like Mario. There's like Mario Party games where you have to stretch your face around. But
Yeah, I think it was just like an extra thing in Odyssey.
Anyway, speaking of Nintendo, you can download the Hello Mario game, and you've got the Hello Mario game, but some other Nintendo products are only available on the game keycards, and quite reasonably, I feel that Japan's National Diet Library, which is a great name for that, by the way.
Yes.
Is National Diet Library. What does that mean? It's,
It's their
what the
political party, isn't
what
it?
the nation is eating.
Yeah. I know we have a diet. It's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, they've decided they're not accepting the game keycards. I feel like this might be a little bit of one of those sort of slightly sort of blown out of proportion. People reported on
Yeah.
Like I don't think Nintendo, I don't think Nintendo is disputing this.
No.
And I would suspect that Nintendo didn't expect them to take them.
Well, and that's the other thing. Like we keep saying Nintendo, because the game key card is their thing specifically for the Switch 2. But I'm pretty sure every Nintendo first party game that's come out so far has been fully on a cartridge.
Right.
This has mostly been third parties who've been using the game key card thing, which, as far as I can tell, is a compromise that Nintendo probably put out, because you either get tiny cartridge that does that, or you get bigger cartridge, which is more expensive.
Like I assume this was basically a journalist phoned up the National Diet Library and asked them, "Do you take these?"
Yeah.
And they said no, because it's not a thing. And
Yeah,
they're
there's nothing on them.
And then it was like, "Oh, that's news." So I mean, it is one of those things that
Yeah.
now it would be nice, as some people in the comments on the YouTube channel pointed out or said, like, that obviously we've talked about game preservation quite a bit, and it would be nice if there was a way that there could, like, either they had a special version of it that was the real game,
Yeah.
or something. I mean, the idea that like any game that is published has to also have a physical version so that it can be put in the library is probably not a
I mean, that's
sustainable
really
idea.
hard
No.
for, say, an indie team that
Right.
has just put out their first game, like,
It's
or
like
all the
just-
games on itch.io, or like those.
It's like
things,
just
right?
burn it onto a CD or something. It doesn't have to be like a full release.
And maybe that would be fine. I mean, this is specifically a Japanese thing, so it would be Japanese devs.
There's definitely,
But-
I'm sure that from the point of view of the librarians, what every librarian would want in this
devs
case.
in Japan.
Yeah. I think what librarians would want in this case is like, what we actually want? We don't just want like the finished game. What we want is the readable code. Like we want to be able to, like, what we would actually want if we were going to really be involved in doing archiving for all of you, is that you have to submit a copy of the game in readable code so that there is, like, we have a record of that.
So I would say, I mean, obviously that's great for preservation.
Yes.
I would say, assuming that this is basically the equivalent of the Library of Congress or whatever, that's not the point of this particular collection.
No.
This particular collection is just the idea of a collection like this is to just have a record of the things that were available. So
Yeah.
it's not supposed to be like an exhibit on how this thing was made, right?
No.
This is
Right,
literally
yeah.
just these are all the things that were put out.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
step. It's a step below full preservation. It's just basically saying, it's like, what we want is to be able to. We know that you guys made a video game for this console, and so therefore we want a copy of that video game so we can say, at this time, this thing, which you can check out at any time to actually like use for research or whatever, like, we have a copy of that. We have a copy of, like, the cultural things that were made during this time that reflect media specifically, because it's not like they're saying to somebody, it's like, okay, every time that you make a I'm trying to think of a good example here. But every time you make like a beautiful clay pot, you make like a run of 20 of those to sell, you need to make a 21st one and give it to us.
Right.
Because it's like, that's not really a thing. We're not a museum in that respect, and we're not trying to like.
But it is a media collection.
Yeah. I will say there was a comment that I couldn't tell if was sincere, so I'm going to act like it was sincere, where someone said, why don't they just put the whole game on several cartridges? They used to do that. I'm thinking for like the GameCube and the
Final Fantasy VII was on so many different discs.
So Final Fantasy VII and there Symphonia or
Tales of
another
Symphonia
big
was too.
game had a thing.
Have they ever done that in a non-disc medium?
Have
cartridges ever had
no,
cartridge swapping?
and that's the thing I want to get at is the you're comparing cartridges to discs, and I'm not sure if it would run the same way.
I mean,
for one, but also it's a cost thing, right? Like the Final Fantasy VII having 3 discs, I don't think they part of the reason they went to the PlayStation was because of the graphics and stuff that they could do, but also
for the disc
cartridge.
The sheer amount of space,
right?
And that's also there's a bunch of aspects of the way Final Fantasy VII was originally designed that work around that, like the reason why, or part of the reason why it's designed such that like you do certain things and then you can never go back is so that because there's actually a lot of overlap in assets on the 2 discs,
right?
So that you can explore and stuff without having to swap
and then it would
discs.
have to, right?
And so it's only the unique stuff that's on each disc, right? Or that's different on each disc. And so like the first chunk of the game that you can never go back to is only on the first disc.
Right.
And the last chunk of the game is only.
And I wouldn't say that it's not like you couldn't do that with a cartridge system, but cartridges have always been so much more expensive than discs. So,
well, and it's like the problem with. I mean, obviously we talked about the LA Noire one, but like from what I understand with the Switch 2 and the keycard thing, the problem isn't that keycards aren't big enough. The problem is that the big keycards are expensive.
Yep.
Or the big
cartridges
are expensive, and so it's just easier to do it at the game keycard thing.
But that's what I mean. It comes down to a cost thing.
Yeah, and releasing 2 cartridges, obviously, to be like, oh, that's fine. They can order 2 of the cheaper cartridges. Like that would not. Not only would it be awkward, but that's fine. You let shit be awkward. I don't care, because it's an idea. It's even if it's an awkward idea. But the second half of that is it wouldn't save you any money because the cost of making 2 cartridges is going to be higher than the cost of making 1 much larger cartridge. There will be a certain break point. Obviously, there'll be a certain point where it's like just cramming 2 terabytes of data onto that one area. It's like, well, we start to see that cost go right up with Flash Media. So. Yeah.
But like that's what I mean. Like there's a reason that I feel like discs have done it and cartridges generally don't. And it's going to be cost. It's always going to kind of fall more on cost because that's the whole reason why they're doing the game key card thing in the first place.
Yeah. And that's not a thing, I'm sure, where
if
Nintendo is happy about that idea, but I think it's more of they know that people have been, the third-party publishers were saying, hey, this is going to cost us a lot of money, though, and they're like, I guess we have to come up with a solution.
Probably. I mean, that's what I expect has happened.
Yeah.
I haven't found anything that actually says that outright.
Yeah.
But I would say that, okay, so first of all, I do think they should just actually make a proper edition with the thing on the game. Full stop. I don't like game key cards.
Yeah.
But can you imagine the outrage if they put out game key cards for sale, but they submitted the one that actually fit everything on one card to a library? We could do it, but we choose not to. Like, of course, that's what they choose not to. But the weird internet outrage over that, if people found out that was a thing.
That idea makes a lot of sense. Like at the purely kind of like, well, what can we do? It's like, well, we can't submit, like we can't make 100,000 of these at this price. We will lose a bunch of money, or we'll have to charge us an astronomical amount for the game. It's like, okay, but you can make 1, or we can make 3 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So we have like a backup or whatever. It's like, so you can make 3, and it's going to cost us $1,000 to make 3. But that's fine because this is the one that we know has to go to the Diet or the Diet Library rather, and this has to go to Library of Congress and whatever. It's like, we know we can make those, and so that's what we'll do is we'll make those specifically for that purpose. Because then what happens is in 10 years, you have movies coming out about holding a heist to steal all the actual physical versions. So I was going to get somewhere with this, obviously. But even in the sense of, even before the heist movie, that does make sense because in a way it's like, I do want there to be that kind of escrow where here's all of the development stuff that went into making this thing. The problem is that books are also always in flux, right? Like books go through editions, go through editing cycles too. So how do you say, like, when I release a second edition of this book that got written, because there's like edits and a few other things that go on in it too. It's like, so then does that book also have to go to the National Library to be held on to? Do you have to do that every time there's a new edition?
I don't know, because
I believe they do that.
Yeah.
There's updates that get made to games, and generally when you buy a new cart, it has the more updates on it if it's part of the newer printing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's if it goes through a newer printing. Also, shout out to the one person who commented about being part of the Kobo
Rakuten
group
Kobo?
of people, and apparently there's only dozens of us. Dozens of us.
She has a Kobo as well.
Well,
they're more popular in Canada because they work on our library system.
We never got Kindle up here.
Yeah,
I mean, you buy a Kindle up here.
Yeah.
But
Kindles exist here, but they're
if you get
way
a
less
Kindle,
useful.
you can't borrow your digital books from your library because their system doesn't run on
the multitudes of systems that our libraries run on never Amazon didn't come scampering along and say, hey, smaller market, would you be interested in doing whatever? And because they never set that up, all the libraries were like, I think we're just going to try to work with what we can get up here. And Kobo was like the kind of the clear winner so far.
I'm okay with not giving Amazon all my money anyway.
Although you do end up with the same thing with the streaming services where, like a while ago, there's a whole thing where it was like, the library is now no longer using it's like, we're no longer using Overdrive. We're now using Superbook or something. Yeah. And so it was like, now we have to find, now there's like a whole different process to go through to rent, to get books and to loan books out and
Beach
stuff.
used to work at a library.
Right, of course, yeah.
I worked at Olds Municipal Library in Olds, Alberta, and I had to write documentation for people to use how to use the e-readers, because you could borrow an e-reader from the library and you could take books out with it as well. And the whole point about that, letting people borrow an e-reader from the library, was to get them interested in the idea of getting an e-reader for themselves if they wanted to.
Right.
But the systems that I think it was the Parkland library system used, because that's the region we were in. There's a whole bunch of regions in Alberta for different library systems. There's Shortgrass, which is where Medicine Hat was, and I think Edmonton's is called something different as well. But like in the Parkland area, the libraries that were served by them, they were only compatible with certain things, and Overdrive was not one of them. And so for people to take, I had to write very good documentation, like this kind of size stuff, but it was like about 15 or 20 steps on how to get a book and put it on your frickin' e-reader. And then we had a Kobo, and it was 6 steps. So I only had to write very shorter documentation to show you how to do it.
And of course you're doing it with the like e-ink display.
Yep.
And 10 years ago e-ink display too. So it was not that easy and nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Innisfail as well just fits.
I read all my boss fight books on this thing.
Does Innisfail have a library? I can't remember. Anyway.
And somebody was actually asking about if there's a Canadian equivalent of a big sort of national archive, which to be honest, I don't like. We've got like the NFB and stuff, but they produce their own things. I don't know if there is a place where you send stuff that has been published.
Yeah, we've never had to do that ourselves.
Legally, if we're supposed to be sending all of our YouTube videos to somebody, I have not been doing that.
That
is not made part of my job description, and it is not a step that I do.
Usually, it's about like publishing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we made our own
DVDs and things. I guess theoretically would have to go there. But,
do they want all of them? Because we don't have them anymore.
I mean, I wouldn't mind the idea of knowing that somewhere in Ottawa there's like an archive underground that just happens to have like a whole lineup of this like, hey, here's a bunch of DVDs that were made for individual sale by, because we never put UPC codes on any of them either. I don't think.
No, they did.
Were there some of them?
Yeah, because when they went through the like print on demand service that we had, they all had UPC codes.
Nice. Okay.
Anyway, let's move on to Bungie.
Yeah.
Bungie.
I always think about that. Was it Worms? Bungie.
Oh, I've never.
Well, we bungee jump. Anyway, yes. So Bungie. Lots of people in the comments were like, "Hi, Graham. Yes, we're sad." Or just like, "Thank you for your condolences."
Well, yeah, because he started. There was one comment that said that after is like, "Are you good, buddy?" Their computer like died or the thing froze or something.
Yeah. But yeah, so
read most of the
Bungie,
comments.
And Graham talked about it in the after show a little bit because there is this sort of thing where there's like a lot of I guess noise that comes out about Bungie stuff.
Right.
It's just sort of static in terms of general low level
dissatisfaction.
Oh, ha ha ha! Bungie did something dumb again, or Destiny did something weird. But it's like, and so there, and that's been happening, and so it's like, are we ready? It's like, is there enough stuff to do a roundup yet? Maybe not this week. Is there enough stuff to do a roundup? And so this week, the sort of tipping point, I guess,
finally happened
for this week was that the Pete Parsons announced his departure from the company.
Oh well,
just kind of a big deal.
So sad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whether you consider it to be a bad thing or not, probably not.
I'm not heartbroken about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then also they have had a particularly bad run of the last set of updates. Did not go well. The what's it called? The
Twid.
This Week in Bungie.
Twid. I liked it when Graham called it Twid.
Yeah,
Yes.
This Week in Destiny.
This Week in Destiny.
Yeah.
Twid. That I mean, that's literally what it's called. This Week in Destiny.
Yeah.
And they use TWID as the acronym too on their like social media stuff. You can see like it's a very, very long post, and they go into all sorts. They've got like graphs of detail of showing like how people the playtime and different things and
Right.
stuff. But it was this thing where one of the things they ended up with was they found that people were basically just single player grinding these one kind of things.
Oh, okay.
Rather than playing
Fire teams.
rather than sort of playing the more separate, more different things with groups and things.
Okay.
Which they would consider to be a more healthy environment. A better user experience.
Well, because you would be more social then too, and you'd be because that elevates the fun of we're doing this all together.
And that's how they want people to play the game.
Yeah.
So you're playing the game wrong.
Yeah.
The problem is the reason why people were doing that is because they had messed, every season or event or whatever, the payouts and the different levels and they have a very complicated system. Like every season or every event has like a new different currency for it. And so like if you look at like Graham or Cameron or one of their accounts, they'll have like 500 shards of blah, 500 shards of Gerblgump.
Right, yeah.
Right, because the currency's never
those are like the currencies for the previous levels that you can never use anymore.
Right.
But they're
things.
still part of your account, so they just sit there. Oh,
But anyway,
gross.
so they and so basically the payouts at this particular thing, people figured out that the payout for the single player stuff was much better than for the other stuff. That's why people were grinding it.
I see.
So the solution that Bungie came up with was nerfing the payouts for the single player thing.
Absolutely.
Which pissed everybody off because now it's not good for anybody.
But
Yeah.
it's
rather than making all
it's
the
so
other
much
payouts
easier
better.
to do single player stuff.
Yeah.
Most of the time, and also people clearly want to get your payout if they're grinding for it, even if they're grinding the faster way.
Yeah, and if the payouts are better, like the thing is, if you want people to play multiplayer, you should be giving them incentive to play multiplayer by making those payouts even better.
Yeah, and it's that old thing of like giving people something and then taking it away.
Yep.
Feels so much worse than giving something and then giving something more, making it better, even if the end result is at the same spot.
Yeah.
Taking something that people feel like they had already versus giving them something new. Feels different.
That's why you don't give everybody everything all at once.
I mean, I know that people like naturally with games that have been around for a long time, especially this is, I think we're finding more than anything else. It's like you can release a video game that's not live service and people will go ahead and play it and they will have complaints about the game, but at a certain point the complaints will stop.
Because people stop playing it. Yeah, or they move on to something else.
Or it's just like we've managed to complain about everything that is available to be complained about in this game. We don't need to keep complaining about it over and over because we've already made our complaints about it. And maybe it gets an update.
But with live service, there's the implication that it is going to be continually updated. So there is always a chance that those things could be fixed.
Lots of opportunity, though, to complain forever because there will always be new things being introduced or changes being introduced that people are going to be mad about.
And I mean... Okay, there's conversations people have and they will always gripe about something because it's like a new thing has happened, has changed. And that's just regular conversation. Unfortunately, now everyone can see your fucking regular conversations because of how social media works.
Yeah.
So if your goal is like, I'm going to try and get people to stop complaining full stop, that's never going to happen. Complaining is not necessarily criticism, and in the space that people are having these conversations, they're not necessarily even looking to give criticism. Right?
Yeah,
and just venting their spleen.
And I think companies that like Bungie or like these different companies that have been running in the live service game industry for a while, I think they kind of know the difference between grumble, 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 and this is actually a problem we need to deal with.
Yeah,
which is why
I would hope so.
It's we thought it was going to be grumble, grumble. Turns out it's actually much worse. We need to deal with it.
It's hard because I feel like when it comes to like reporting on these things, it's not like a bad idea to take the temperature of what people are just saying.
Right.
But at the same time, just because you find the section of the pool is really cold because that's where all of the people are hanging out who are mad about it, but there's only 10 people over there, doesn't necessarily reflect everything.
Yeah, so I was hoping you were going to work out some sort of warm part of the pool.
I was gonna. I said cold, and then I was thinking about it, and my brain was like, I should have said warm because they're all clearly peeing over there.
Yeah, I was going to say the warm part of the pool is not the part of the pool.
But I didn't want to. No. Yeah, and then I was on that flow, so
we
it was
were
just
all
like,
thinking the same
yeah,
thing.
Okay, I'm glad we all got there.
Yeah,
all right,
pretend that that's what you said.
Anyway,
I just largely feel like doing a live service game has clearly been a hard nut to crack, and the longer you operate a live service game, it just feels like the longer you operate a live service game, the more downtrodden your experience becomes, not just as a player but as a developer. It just feels like we can never really do what we want to do to make the experience be the intersection of everyone's having a great time and we're all managing to still make money off of it. That it feels like at some point the game has to kind of come to an end and something new needs to happen.
Well,
because it's that. I think there is a certain aspect of like, just because that happens doesn't mean that's the way it has to be.
No, Final Fantasy 14.
And people have brought up in the comments, the one that a couple people mentioned in the comments was like Warframe is a game that has been going almost as long as Destiny. I think as long as Destiny 1, around the same. And it's smaller, but the company is very much, been very successful and continued to make the stuff.
Yeah.
And they've had their share of controversies or things that people didn't like, but it's an entirely different sort of feeling, I guess, amongst the community, that like even if something happens that people don't like, there is the goodwill. There's enough sort of goodwill and sort of positive feelings, and that people are sort of like, okay, there was a mistake here.
Yeah.
We are reasonably confident that it's going to get fixed.
Right.
And you don't have this sort of adversarial relationship that a lot of these, when you get into this thing with live service games, that sort of, I feel like it's kind of the end result in a lot of these live service games, where it's like, where it is trying to extract that maximum, it's let's make the game as frustrating to play as possible, and figure out what the line is where people leave because they're so frustrated, and then dial it back one
notch,
and make it so annoying to play, but not quite annoying enough to make people leave. And it's like, if that's where you're sort of coming at it from, that kind of mercenary aspect, you are going to end up in this kind of antagonistic relationship with your
kind of this
group. But that doesn't mean
feeling of like, we have to make all the money versus we have to make enough money.
Yeah, but like, that's not how it has to be.
No, and I would hesitate. I wouldn't blame maybe the devs for that, even if they're implementing those things, because generally, I don't believe people want to make a thing that's bad.
No.
But I believe there are definitely people higher up than them who are more invested in a specific outcome than they necessarily are.
I can guarantee that no, game developers are not clamoring to figure out how to add monetization stuff into their game. Like, that is something that is a sort of imposed, that it's like it just sort of has to happen.
Yeah.
But it's not, if they given their choice, I doubt most game developers would put that in.
Right. Yeah. So I wouldn't say that it's like every live service game ends up this way. It's maybe a live service game of a certain size, because at that point you're also like, and if you're trying to extract all money, there's a different thing going on there. But also there's a point where the more people are in a thing, the harder it is to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
The Bungie has a problem also with their own success.
Well, I mean, Bungie has the funny thing with the like.
Aren't they the ones who constantly get passed around?
Well, they constantly
get owned by different companies.
Yeah, so Bungie's got this weird thing where they keep trying to be independent and then realizing that that's a terrible idea.
Yep.
Like, they were independent, and then they got bought by Microsoft.
Yep.
And then they chafed under the yoke of Microsoft.
Yep.
But Destiny was so successful, and Halo and Destiny were so successful that they were able to buy themselves out from Microsoft to be independent again.
Only to discover
that then it didn't actually work too well.
Yep.
Then they got bought by, I think they got bought by somebody else, like it was like Activision or somebody, and then went independent, and now they're bought by Sony. And I did want to emphasize this wonderful phrasing, which is that's a quote from the Sony. Sony says that the days of independence are getting lighter for Bungie, which that's
a weird way to say that.
It's like, the days of we're going to be going lighter on me not punching you.
Yeah, there's
like,
I picture scales, right? As I'm kind of like in
Activision.
In a series of like a balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like on one half of the balance is independence, and on the other hand is interference. I don't know, maybe that's interference is maybe not the right word, but it's like Sony on the one hand is saying we will not interfere in what Bungie is doing, and that's very heavy on that side. And this is there will be minimal interference from the rest of Sony, I think is how we're supposed to read this. And they're like, what's the most positive way we can say this? Well, the days of independence are getting lighter. And I'm like, yeah, but when I picture a balance, what I picture is that the days of independence are getting lighter means that there's less and less, and a heavy hand is coming down on the interference side of the scale.
Look,
and it's like, well, we can say this thing. It doesn't sound wonderful. It's like it doesn't, because we know what it actually means. It means means that Sony's going to start digging their hands in more to be like, you need to stop operating in this way. You need to start operating differently.
If you're completely independent, then you have to do all the jobs that other people would do.
Yes.
Then you're also responsible for everything.
Yeah.
And then you also you can't depend on somebody else for money if things go wrong or you need more cash flow. So,
and it's
like, those are your downsides, but you get to have all the creative control and whatever it is that you need to have.
Like there's an argument that Bungie did its best work when it was owned by Microsoft. Like, maybe they needed that.
Sometimes people do better with restrictions as well.
Restriction, that hand on the tiller.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it depends on like what those restrictions are, right? Because restrictions can have a positive effect in the sense of more creative solutions to get around things, but they can also create a lot of stress.
What I also mean, though, too, is that Bungie is suffering from their own success, not just in terms of they keep going indie and then coming back and coming independent and going back and like all that kind of stuff. What I mean is that we don't hear a ton of news about Warframe. In fact, I know that there's a lot of people. I shouldn't say a lot. There are some people in our chat, I believe, that have sent us stories to be like, oh, this thing is going on. There's like, this thing is controversy right now in Warframe. We've seen that come up, and it's like we haven't done stories on that. But we would do a story on Destiny. Well, A, because Graham plays it, but also B, because a lot of people have heard of Destiny. Probably even more people have heard of Bungie.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a part where it's like Bungie suffers from their own success, is the fact that they made some stuff way back in the day that really got people excited. And then later in the day, they made more stuff that got people excited. So we're talking Marathon, but then we're also talking Halo. And I know there's something else they made in the middle there. I know it was Myth.
Myth, they did, yeah.
People really love that too. And it's like, there are some things that Bungie made that were just like, oh, shit, yeah. Like, people were really into that. And then Destiny came out, and people were like, oh, rad, a live service game from the guys who have made all these other amazing games that we love. And it's like, right, but they didn't just make the amazing games that you loved. I'm sure there was, like, Oni was a thing that people got really excited for.
You shut your face about Oni.
A lot of people got really excited for Oni, and it turned out that not a lot of people liked it. I'm not saying that it wasn't good or not. I never played it. I'm saying that a lot of people didn't like it. That's not what they wanted the next thing to be.
It's not what they
them.
remember them for.
Yeah,
right?
and
okay.
So there's this thing of Bungie has become well known a lot, and there's a lot of fond memories, and but they have gone through this cycle of getting bought, buying themselves out, allowing themselves to be bought, buying themselves back out, or whatever. And I'm like, right. And so we are all paying attention to what Bungie does, and there's a lot of, I think, baked in nostalgia for, oh man, I wish you could just go back to making Marathon. You know, like, I want to play Marathon again. So, well, here's an extraction shooter. That's not what I was going to
say. The monkey's paw closes.
Yeah, and it's like, but hey, maybe the Marathon extraction shooter will actually be an amazing game, or maybe it'll never come out now, or who fucking knows. But it's like, I think that's where we end up getting attached to that kind of thing. Like, we're going to talk about Silksong here in a second. I'm like, if Silksong ends up being a 7 out of 10, right? If it ends up being a mid game for whatever reason,
Don't you dare!
It'll
put
be
that whammy out
disappointing.
there.
But Team Cherry's only made like the two games that have had a lot of vision on them. They've made Hollow Knight, which so many people know Hollow Knight. I know they've made games before it, but so many people know Hollow Knight, and now expectations are high that Silksong will be the next thing. And if it isn't, then we might get dozens of stories about how it's like such a disappointment and let you down, whatever. It's like, right, because we're investing so much of what we remember from the past into what's coming, because that's the only thing we really know how to do as humans, is to try to build patterns out of stuff. And every time a studio breaks up, and then the 4 guys will leave a studio, it's always guys. 4 guys will leave a studio, and then they'll start a brand new studio. Everyone's like, oh, that's the new Obsidian. That's the new this. That's the new that, right? It's like this new studio that came up, but it's actually just these 4 guys from this other thing, and they're going to make this amazing product. And how many times has that happened where those guys have made a game that is kind of not that great? That has happened a few times. You know, so it's like you can't really always plug success, like be like, well, Bungie's Bungie. They made all these great games. It's like, yes. Does that mean they're due for a bad one? No. Does it mean that they can make a bad one? It sure does.
I like that within the span of 5 minutes, Beach has managed to make Paul go, don't you dare.
Yeah.
And me go, I don't think so.
Yeah. Controversial. I'm sure everybody else out there is like, he needs to stop talking. It's like,
No, they're all debating game scores now because you said 7 out of 10 is mid, which it's not.
No, it
It's-
isn't.
It's fine.
Yeah.
7 out of 10 is a playable game. It's not something you want on something you're super hyped for.
yes.
5
That's
out
the
of 10
disappointing part.
is still a thing that's a mess that barely works because most games don't go below 5 on a scale. But
I mean, as Marquette
no.
says, it's like, it's like grades in school, right? Like,
yeah,
a C is a 7 out of 10.
50% is
Yeah.
like a barely pass.
C's get degrees, though.
Yeah, 50%. Well, or either bare pass or a fail.
And
depending on
probably
when
part of the problem we're getting into is mid is short for like middle.
Yeah.
But
Mid-tier.
or mid-tier or those kinds of phrases, but when people say something is mid, they generally do mean it's fine, it's
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
it's not meh, it's a little
it's
but now
mid-
it kind of
it's
means
mid
crap
in-
now.
It's mid in the scale of like playable games.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But if it's below 5, it's like not functional.
Yeah.
Yes.
If Silk Song was to show up and if I started playing Silk Song and I really felt like after about 6 hours or so that I was in the middle of a 7 out of 10 experience with it, I'd be like, it's still a good
I'd still
Metroidvania
probably
and I'd have a
enjoy
good
it.
time with it. But I would also be constantly comparing it to like thinking of Hollow Knight.
Well, yeah,
Obviously that, a 9.5 type of game, the game that's just like, I get so excited about playing that game. And so that's what I want is I want Silksong to be like, this is a really good game and I'm compelled to come home and play more of it.
I don't expect it to be a 10 out of 10 game. I don't even expect it to be a 9 out of 10 game because honestly, all these numbers are meaningless when it comes to that.
Sure.
I expect it to be more Hollow Knight, but like the parts I enjoyed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like with Hornet, because I liked Hornet as
Yeah.
a character. So I'm hoping we get to like see Hornet do some cool stuff.
Speaking of which,
Silksong.
yeah, Hornet's going to be doing some cool stuff in September.
Like a week from now.
Yeah. And because of that,
I'm told we're not allowed to delay the next checkpoint.
quite a few, yeah,
What insanity is that? Can we do it on Wednesday?
quite a few other games have announced that they are pushing their release dates either by like a couple days or a week, or in some cases at like a month or two. Which I feel like if you're pushing it by a month or two, that might be like kind of taking advantage
I'm
of the situation to be
I'm
like,
willing,
we
I'm
kind
willing
of
to
want to do
believe
more.
that if you had a game coming out on the same day, that you might want to be like, okay, maybe not that day.
Yeah.
But I honestly feel like it's more likely that some of these games wanted to do a delay because they needed some extra time anyway, and Silksong is the meme game that's finally gotten a release date.
This is
Yeah.
a great way to get publicity for your game too, is to be like, we're posting a thing that says our game's going to be delayed because obviously Silksong's coming out, and we want to be able to catch we want to catch the media cycle when we know that everyone's going to be talking about it. We don't
Yeah.
want to be buried by this.
Like, I'm not saying that that's not a good reason.
Yeah.
I just also feel like things were probably aligning that they might need the extra time regardless,
Like I mean, I think Silksong,
especially in the case of like months.
yeah, like I think Silksong will be good, and I think it will be, there'll be a lot of hype around it, but it is exciting and there's a lot of hype within a relatively narrow band, right? It's people who are excited for a new 2D Metroidvania game. So like if your game intersects with that audience, yeah, certainly. If you're making a completely different type of game, like I don't know if you really need to worry about it that much. Again, maybe like a day or two to just avoid the like getting all the news stuff, but like yeah, I feel like it isn't necessarily that important to
Yeah.
but,
I mean, what I learned from playing Hollow Knight and some other Metroidvanias after that, because Metroidvania style games weren't really a thing I played a lot of, is that there are Metroidvania games I like, but it's definitely not all of them, and most of them are not great. That like if someone says, "Oh, hey, it's a new Metroidvania game," I'm like, "Cool, that means nothing."
Yeah, it really does.
You need
I
to
need
tell me
more
more.
info,
I need
yeah.
more info because I've played some that I feel like a core mechanic of some, if they don't have a different draw for me, is that the travel back should be better, and some are not good at that.
Oh yeah, that's
And
true.
that if I feel bored traveling back, I'm playing your game anymore.
Yeah. I do like that some games are obviously capitalizing on the idea of it's like this is happening and we're getting our names up in there. And I know that there's a lot of PR firms that like I'll get contacted by a PR firms sometimes being like, hey, so here's the 5 games we're currently managing for PR, because they're all coming out roughly within a month or 2 of each other.
Right.
And I imagine that's like for anybody who's trying to do PR on their own right now, it might not be a bad idea to contact the other groups that are being affected. If you or someone you know has been affected by Hollow Knight Silksong, you can band together for some compensation. And it's like you guys should get together and you should do a thing that's more about we're all delaying our date so you can all play Silksong, but then we all want you to come back and look at us later on and get some press that way.
It'd be great to have like a Steam indie games that aren't Silksong event.
Yeah. Or a support group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Silksong release date support group.
Anyway, let's. And then the coming up, where we were very mean to Squadron 42.
Oh well.
But so there's an article in Ars Technica that is talking about an interview that Chris Roberts, CEO of Cloud Imperium Games, saying that Squadron 42 is going to be released in 2026, and he believes that it will be. We are hoping it'll be almost as big an event as GTA 6.
Oh, probably not.
Other than GTA 6, it's probably the biggest budget AAA game of the year.
I mean, given how much money they've raised.
I was going to say, which technically is kind of, depending on how much you consider to be Star Citizen and how much you consider to be Squadron 42.
Yeah.
It is the game that has, like, they're talking GTA 6, where they're talking like $1 billion budget. Technically, they've raised something like $900 million for Star Citizen. So technically, not actually that wrong, but this idea of like, that's us, these two big juggernauts,
Goliaths of the gaming industry.
GTA 6. Nobody could really tell which one is more anticipated, but they're roughly even. I do find a little bit,
I do like that at the very beginning of the Ars Technica article, the very first sentence is the single-player Star Citizen spin-off Squadron 42 is slated to finally be in players' hands in 2026, 11 full years after its initial 2015 release target. Like, they were not letting them slide in the lead.
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be quite something if we had within the next year we suddenly got hit by all of the games that have been the joke games of like these are things never coming out.
That's true.
Like Devil May Cry 6 all of a sudden appears, and it's like they weren't even supposed to make that.
I mean, I was thinking that like with the Silksong stuff, it would be good if like Valve just was like, oh, we were going to release Half-Life 3. Yeah. We were doing it. Well, now, we'll have to push it till some further unspecified time.
It is kind of funny though, because it's like Silksong probably wouldn't have entered that it's never coming out list if it hadn't shown up on some of the big direct things.
Well,
and, like if they had just if it hadn't been advertised, like if they'd just been working on it.
Well, and because of it,
probably wouldn't have shown up until like really near the end.
Like its gestation was also so that in such that they like showed off a demo of it, sort of like they showed off some stuff about it like years ago.
Yeah, like 2019.
Because
on Valentine's Day.
Because it was originally just going to be an expansion, so like it was.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, we're almost done, and then it sort of changed its scope and everything. So, yeah.
We'll always have Beyond Good and Evil 2. Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't have high hopes for that one.
Ico and Mog, that is such a great... Silksong is the rare game that was stuck in development heaven.
Oh,
Yeah.
you haven't been reading
That's so good.
the Silk Song subreddit was a really great place when that article came out.
That's kind of great. Yeah, love it.
The
Just all the positivity there.
yeah, the other aspect of Star Citizen. I didn't mark this as a story, but there's a update, or maybe I did, but No Man's Sky just had an update called like the Explorer update or something.
I didn't think they were. Are
No
they
Man's
done
Sky.
No Man's Sky yet? Like,
They will
I thought
never
they were
be
working
done.
on. I thought that team was working on another big.
They are going to be releasing another
Fantasy
game.
world
Voyager's
thing.
update, yes. No Man's Sky just released the Voyager's update, which has a whole thing with like you can build custom ships, and you can like get out of your ship and like walk around inside the ship,
Oh, cool.
which is neat. And it's also like one of the things that people really like about the current version of Star Citizen, which is sort of this kind of beta alpha development version of Star Citizen.
Yeah, I'm not saying they shouldn't make updates. I just assumed
yeah,
that
yeah.
because they were like this other game had gotten announced that maybe they were done
But
working on No Man's Sky.
I think they are working on another game as well.
Yeah,
But they
I can't
appear to be still
remember
doing
the
No Man's
name
Sky
of it.
updates.
I just remember there being like it was like a big world thing.
Yeah, Light No Fire.
Right. Oh, am I not allowed to play that if I'm not allowed to light fires?
Didn't Hello Games also make The Last Campfire?
Yeah, they did.
So
But that's like a tiny little.
It's also a fun game. But yeah, it's
puzzle
like
game.
a little puzzle game.
yeah.
So like to me that was just kind of. The newer one seemed like a really big grand scale game.
All right, let's talk about some stories that didn't make it into the episode. Train Sim World 6. Train Sim World.
Get on track.
Yes.
Wait, can a train game get delayed? Is it bad if it goes off the track?
I mean, if it's Deutschbahn,
Do they get when they get a roadmap? Is it a cool roadmap of like train things?
I mean, that would be good. So, Train Sim World 6, it's, for one thing, for a game called Train Sim World, previously, you could say that the world wasn't necessarily that well represented.
No,
There's
it's
a
like-
few areas that they kind of concentrated on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like calling yourself the God Emperor Supreme when you conquered the village next to yours, kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh,
Or
it
like
just sounds cooler.
The World Series of baseball.
Yes, exactly. Two countries. Blue Jays are doing pretty good right now. We might stand a chance. I don't give a shit about baseball, but I do give a shit about the Blue Jays.
Anyway, so they previously were mostly tracks in UK, Germany, and the USA.
Yeah, okay. I feel like
But
Which I am surprised that it's UK, Germany, and the USA, which is not a really big train country, but they've got their Amtraks anyway.
but they're going to be adding a bunch of cool new stuff. They're going to be adding their first ever Portuguese route.
okay.
They're going to be adding. So here, let me switch over to this. From Lisbon to Setúbal, experience Portuguese safety systems and signaling,
And that sounds
which adds an all new challenge to learn, which doesn't seem very complimentary to Portuguese safety systems, but
But if you had to control the New York subway, you'd be like, experience New York safety systems and signaling.
yeah.
Hint, they're practically non-existent.
I mean, I don't know enough about trains, but I feel like when you put a bullet point like that, if you're like really into trains, that's very exciting.
Yeah,
yeah.
I would assume so.
And then Czechia.
Yeah, first ever Czech route, developed by a new third-party partner.
Oh.
Explore the Jezera Mountains in northern Chechnya with 80 kilometers of fast-paced single-track main line.
You meant to say Czechia. Trust me, you said Chechnya, which is a very different place.
Czechia.
Czechia.
Take multiple Class 750 engines on demanding grades. Yard work, passenger traffic
work?
to malfunctioning express retrieval.
Oh man, it sounds like the game's not just on rails.
Yeah, I don't know what yard work entails in the context.
Well, because
of this game.
you have a train go into a
Raking
yard, so
leaves.
there might be like maintenance to
Oh, that's
do,
true.
or changing out people. Maybe there's like a bit of a people sim. Maybe
Right.
everyone there is really obsessed with trains in the entire game. Like it's like everybody just knows stuff
When-
about trains. Oh, this sounds exciting.
Train yard makes it make more sense. Not like I was thinking
backyard?
yard work as
Yeah.
in like
No,
raking leaves
train
and
yard.
stuff. I was
Yeah, because
like,
your dad's like a landscaper, so you grew
Yeah.
up having to do a lot of yard work.
I was like, I don't quite know how that will impact the trains, but sure, okay.
There's a lot of other things that they're doing too, because it's like they're like the editions are getting like they have a standard edition and a deluxe edition and is it the luxury edition? Is that the third one? There's like 3 different editions they're doing, and they're adding like more trains. Obviously, that's what you would do is add more train skins. Like,
Yeah. Which I hope is the place where you learn how to drive a train called the training center.
yeah,
The train training center. I hope it is.
special edition. That was the last one.
Yeah, you get a bunch more trains and stuff. Anyway, it seems if you are a train driving enthusiast,
Are you a trainee? I don't think they call themselves that, but I think it would be a good name.
I like this. This year, players are being told to expect the unexpected, with a key new feature being the introduction of a toggleable random events and train faults
That sounds like
To
a thing
assure-
you don't want to happen
to assure
on
that
trains.
no two services feel the same.
I thought they were gonna go for like flying trains. That's unexpected, but
From signal delays
just
to
an
speed
airplane.
restrictions, players must stay alert to overcome unpredictable challenges, which is interesting. Like my impression of this kind of game, it kind of struck me as one of those things where it's just kind of like kind of a fun or a nice kind of relaxing vibe kind of a game.
okay.
Which it seems like random events happening to you to mess up your train would kind of disqualify it for that. But I guess people like to play in different ways.
So
Well, yeah, I just assumed that like the last thing you want to do when you're like driving a train is have an unexpected event happen.
If
Not
it's
that
your
you should
job.
be, not that you should be prepared. Like you should be prepared for certain things that could happen, that could go wrong, because I'm sure that's part of your training.
So-
but it's like
to kind of
that's
dive
not what you would
to
want.
kind of dive into the rail fan mindset a little bit. If we go back to Densha de Go,
yeah.
that is something also Train Sim World wants to add Japanese and other Asian roots later on. It sounds like too, but
Sure.
it's not for this thing. But like when I first saw Densha de Go and I was trying to understand what it was, it's like you get to drive a train, you pilot a train, right? It's like so you get
That's
to
the one that's basically just like video, right?
no, that's Railfan.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, and that was released in Taiwan, I think, was where Railfan got. But I think it was a Japanese one. It just has a Taiwanese root. Anyway, Densha de Go was like PlayStation, and it was all 3D modeled and stuff. But Railfan is just like they speed up and slow down the video so you can make,
Right.
as you go with things faster and slower. But the mindset of the person who plays it is that I'm not just hitting go and then sitting back and letting the thing go. It's like I have to act as the responsible driver to know when I have to bring the thing up to speed, knowing when I have to brake properly and bring down to another speed, knowing when I like if I trip an automatic braking system and like all the other kind
So
of
it
stuff.
is really doing the like flight sim,
Yeah, they really let you get into that, and I'm like, for them to be like, we're going to introduce unexpected things of rail delay and like there's like there's a blockage at a crossing or there's something else going on. It's like all of that stuff is probably what they put into simulators to train actual train driving man.
Right, yeah.
To be like you need to be able to deal with all these things as they are happening because this is all the dangerous stuff, and that's I think ultimately what most rail fans want is they're like I want to be the train driving man, but I don't want to accidentally run hundreds of tons of metal off the rails into a subdivision, killing hundreds. Like I want to learn how to do this, and
Yeah. When we were in Japan, we went into a tiny like little store that was by one of the train stations, and it had all the train goods you could get.
Oh yeah.
And like you could get
Iwasaki.
You could get keychains with like your favorite route on it.
Yeah.
And you could get like, you could buy the thing you hold to stand. You could just buy to hang off like your bag.
The plastic ring. They had a few different
stuff.
ones for different
And there was
trains.
just a part of me when I saw the favorite routes that I was just like, I feel like I almost understand sports. I'm not quite there, but I feel like I almost understand sports.
Nice.
Operate a train or run a train in North America. I still really think piloting a train is actually probably the more, I think it's the way more descriptive thing, because somehow it sounds, it's like piloting a boat, right? It's like there's something difficult about doing it.
I don't think they use the word pilot for boats either.
I think drive a train is
Yeah.
probably, you don't use pilot for boats. That's actually important.
Oh,
A pilot on a ship is something very different than.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did not know. So you sail a ship then.
You sail a ship. Yeah.
Right. Even if it doesn't have sails.
Or I guess, or drive a ship, but a pilot on a ship is a specific, a guy who comes in for a specific difficult piece of
It's like
navigation.
sending them down the Suez.
Yeah.
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 That is
In
a
fact, like
person's role.
with the Suez Canal, you have to actually bring on a pilot specifically for that. Who they just have like a supply of pilots at the Suez Canal to stop your boat from getting stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, it doesn't always work.
But it has worked hundreds of thousands of times in the past. So interesting.
Anyway, speaking of things that don't always work, because sometimes it's very scary and dangerous, Helldivers 2 is a couple things are happening, in fact. One, it's launching on Xbox, which is a very big deal because it was previously PlayStation exclusive. Or it was PlayStation and PC, but the PC, there was the whole thing with PlayStation.
The whole
now.
thing happened with the PlayStation login.
Anyway, and not only that, but like they're putting in like Halo. You don't they're putting in ODST skins. So they're Halo. They're from Halo, but they're not like the Spartans, like the Master Chief.
Okay.
It's the cool guys.
If they're launching it on Xbox, does that mean on PC they're gonna take off the PlayStation restriction?
I think that happened. Did
I
that
believe
not
that-
happen a
Did
while
they
ago?
I think that
I know
happened
they
already.
revoked it. I thought they were planning to put it back. Or did they just?
I think they.
Or did they just get yelled at enough that they were like,
Yeah, I think it was not-
no, we promise we won't.
It was not there. Then they put it there, and then they took it back again. I think.
Okay,
I think they're okay with it
Okay.
not being out now.
got it.
Anyway, they're adding then, but as well as that, it's sort of coinciding with the Xbox thing. They're also bringing out the next expansion, which is called Into the Unjust.
Okay. Like
These names.
okay, wait. Does that mean they're gonna find an unjust person and then get into their bloodstream and it's gonna turn into a Magic School Bus fun time?
Inner space.
No.
I feel like sometimes expansion names they pull expansion names from the list of names they were going to give to other games that they realized are just not very good names, and they're like, well, we can use them for expansions. It's like, I guess we can.
I suppose.
Part of the reason why I like this is what they're adding. You're going to be going into because there's like the enemy factions that you fight. There's the like robots and stuff, and then there's the sort of bugs. And you're actually going to be like going deeper into bug territory and going into their underground layers, doing stuff. Which I was immediately like, come on, man, we already have the Deep Rock Galactic connection. And now you're going underground. When are we going to get the Deep Rock Galactic dwarves hanging out?
Right.
Oh. So you're saying this is really bugging you?
I mean, the Deep Rock Galactic dwarves also have to deal with bugs, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They are, they're very, very buggy.
Known bug hater Paul Sanders.
Saunders.
Both sides
even.
have been receptive to
Sorry,
a collab.
I'm sorry. That was rude of me.
Both sides have been apparently receptive to a collab. Let's go.
That's cool.
Anyway,
That's the kind of thing you can do, though. I think when you are like a
They need to even escort a mobile oil rig.
Yeah.
That's like half of what you do in Deep Rock Galactic.
I feel like that's when you're companies of a certain size. That's like we can be a big popular game in a smaller company, but then we can be agile enough to say, hey, what if we did do this fun thing, and then allow that kind of thing to develop and come out of it. So yeah,
So much red tape.
They're also adding some new buggy, bug enemies.
Oh, well,
Hopefully not buggy bug enemies.
buggish.
mosquitoes.
Well, one is called
skimmers.
One of them is called the Bile Dragon.
Oh, good.
So
Doesn't sound like a bug.
he looks like quite a friendly fellow.
Well, it's got some interesting wings.
Yeah.
I like the scorpion.
I definitely don't want to see a bug that looks like that in reality.
No. Yeah, that is a nope. That is a nope bug.
Yeah.
No, but they're good for your house, so they clean up all the other mosquitoes and stuff.
I think they also
Or,
clean up a lot of other things in your
Small
house
dogs
that are
or
that maybe
large animals.
Yeah. Average Australian walk to school.
I thought they were filled with spiders, not bugs, because
It's
they
the-
had so many spiders.
It's the magpies hunt those things and keep them off you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the ibises come along and eat their remains.
A what?
Ibis.
I don't know. Is that a bird?
Yeah.
Big,
They
big
call
curved
them
nose.
They call them bin chickens. It's an ibis, right? That's the things that you guys hate.
Nope. Bin chicken is way better.
I always thought it was ibis.
Maybe
but
it's ibis.
I don't know.
Sure.
Nope. I refuse that name. Bin chicken is the best name. You guys are good at naming things.
There's two. I've seen a couple different ibises actually. The white ibis is what we're talking about. There's another. I think it's scarlet, which are gorgeous looking birds. There's other ibises that are just like, wow, these things look amazing. So, and then the white one is just like these scraggly looking, like it's like I'm a seagull that forgot how to fly. Like it's just very much like.
No, trash bird.
These things suck. Like people do not like them. It's so much fun.
Speaking of
Oh, maybe one day I can go and you can show me all these weird birds.
Yeah, absolutely.
speaking of things that people don't like, I don't know. Fortnite. Fortnite, specifically Fortnite Festival, which is
Oh.
the rhythm game.
Well,
music
that's
thing.
the other one. It's just because there's like two rhythm games and one's like Guitar Hero and one's like Fuser.
Or is Fortnite Festival just like we're doing a show and you just show up and you stand there and you watch somebody spin tracks?
Again, that's Fuser.
Do an MP3 playlist.
That's Fuser.
Good old Fuser.
Anyway,
One is like Guitar Hero, one's like Fuser.
Gorillaz is, I believe they actually have
think this is
already
the
been
Guitar Hero
doing
one.
the thing. The Gorillaz, the band, not the animal, are doing a thing. There's not only is there going to be like their music in the game, but there's also going to be a bunch of like skins and stuff that you can do, which is pretty cool. That's fun. Good music and good doing stuff. Getting in on that Donkey Kong hype, I guess. Maybe, probably not.
I
but
don't
I don't think those things are connected
that
at all.
doesn't seem connected. Although I do think it would be pretty funny if Gorillaz did a song about Donkey Kong.
Yeah. So you can see the.
But I don't think those are connected.
Well, and it's also because like Gorillaz, they're sort of ostensibly a sort of digital only band or sort of animated only band, despite the fact that there obviously are real people. But they try.
So they're VTubers.
Yeah, they are VTubers.
Kind of,
Yeah, they are
essentially.
the band equivalent of that.
Still holding my breath for Prozac.
That would be fun.
That would be fun.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
I
Right?
like those guys.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But what is another thing that is interesting?
Is it?
Well,
What
it
is
is
interesting, Paul? Tell me of this interesting thing.
Abixolute.
This interesting thing sounds
Absolute.
like it
I guess
needs,
it probably is absolute.
needs
Yeah.
a new name.
Put it below in the comments. Hit us in the
They're
Titus.
they're getting into they're a company that they produce or they've made a couple of like handheld gaming sort of PC gaming
Okay, yeah,
things.
Oh, okay.
Specifically like streaming, like for like
Streaming games to a handheld.
Streaming games to handheld.
Oh,
Kind of
so
like a
like
Steam
the
machine or PlayStation
portable.
Portal.
They
Sorry, the shorthand for it is PSP, so I do want to call it the PlayStation Portable,
That's
which
fair.
is not what it's called.
of course, according to their press release anyway, is producing the world's first glasses-free 3D handheld PC.
There's a lot of terms
We got
that
to
makes
put in
it the
a
world's
few,
first.
So basically,
yeah,
It
modifiers.
appears that they're basically doing like the 3DS tech,
Yeah.
but
Specifically the new 3DS tech, which used eye tracking to help orient the screen.
But
so-
also the dual screen thing.
yeah. It's
Like when I say dual screen, I don't mean the up and down screen.
Well,
but like
it's-
there was like it showed 2 images or something, which is kind
it's
of how
like
you got your.
it's a lenticular.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's using parallax to be able to do that, but apparently in the new Nintendo 3DS, I was reading a thing, and it's like they used an eye tracking system to help orient the screen so they would hit your eyes. at the right.
Yeah,
I don't
so
know
it
if
was,
you
it was
can-
easier for your
I don't know if you can see in this screenshot, but you can see it sort of looks doubled on some of the stuff.
It's like we take a picture of my blurry laptop. That's the technology, and it's like, yeah. It
Well, I
doesn't
mean, that
work.
was one of the things with the 3DS too, though, right? It was like you would see a commercial for the game, but on a 2D screen,
Yeah,
all
it
you're
never
seeing
really-
is the thing in 2D, like not in the same kind of 3D that they're going for. So it's just kind of, it's a thing you have to see in person to really.
So a couple of things about this. One is, so actually, let me show this again.
Oh yeah, that is a weird controller.
Well, that's because it's sort of doing the Switch thing.
Yeah, but the Switch one is cute in kind of like it looks like a dog way, and this is just
a dinner plate.
Well, it's also that
Weird.
it's huge, right? Like the problem is that the controllers on the side are way bigger than Switch because the screen is so much bigger. Like
oh yeah,
it's like a
I see what you
tablet.
mean.
Yeah.
With things on the side.
Like an iPad.
Yeah, like you can see it
Yeah.
here.
But what else can we see here, Paul?
Yeah,
See, you know the corner image where it shows how big it really is. I've seen so many photoshopped images of things that look the wrong size that to me I was just like, oh, well, that's just to show off a person holding a thing, and that's not indicative of size at all.
but yes, also, hey, wait a minute. This is probably not a game that you're going to be playing on
Well,
this device
not
unless you're using it to emulate your.
not legally.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they have that up like that, because that's the kind of thing that'll.
I mean, that's why. That's part of the reason why I marked this as a story. Is people are like, "Oh, cool," and yeah, Fire Emblem is also on there.
And it's like, so why exactly are there 2 Nintendo first-party games in this thing? Oh, it's because being a 3D handheld PC,
Except those aren't even.
they're not even 3D games.
Those aren't even games that were like 3DS things.
No.
Which Fire Emblem is that?
Awakening.
Awakening was
Crom.
DS.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think it was even a 3DS game to begin
It wasn't a
with.
3DS game. I think it was a DS game, which
Yeah.
is like closer than the Mario Odyssey. But
Yeah.
It's and good news. It is going to be retailing for under $1,700.
Which is funny because that's also what the Switch 2 retails for under is
It's true.
$1,700.
There's, I feel like there's
there's
lot
so
of,
many devices.
There's
that
a lot
do.
of range of devices that fit into that category. It's also called the Sunday Dragon 3D One, which
Wow, I didn't see that until just
What?
now. Thank you.
I don't know why it's a Sunday thing.
Oh, I know
Dragon.
why. It's going to be one of these things that's like we have a series of words that we shove together to make it sound interesting.
Yeah, did we
because
draw
are
names?
People
not-
like
Words from a
Sundays,
hat?
right?
It's true, and I think it's
I
one
hope
of the,
so.
I think it's one of these things where it's like we are not a North American company.
I mean, they're spelling
I
up
just-
the name of the thing. It's
I just-
probably a good chance.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like maybe go buy that Rogue Ally or go buy the Steam Deck or something for under 17.
Yeah.
Or buy a whole computer.
Yeah, or just a laptop.
Sunday with a
Or
Y.
part of a graphics card.
Yeah. Good God. I mean, the thing is, like, what's cool, if that this thing really does work out, is that you'll be able to play a 3D game, and if the game supports a 3D mode, then you'll be able to just play it without having to have glasses or a special 3D TV.
I would be suspicious of playing a thing that's like, oh, don't worry, your Mario Odyssey game, which was never made for this kind of thing, will definitely look cool in that 3D way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
like, clearly this is as Paul said, it's probably because they're trying to let everybody know. It's like, hey, yeah, it's a PC, so you can emulate really good games on here. Anyway.
Paul, another story, please.
All right. So this is another one where there's a lot of noise. You know, it's like the Bungie thing. It's like there's a lot of noise that keeps happening. At what point does it get to be enough to turn into an actual checkpoint story?
Fair, yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to mention this. We don't need to necessarily talk about it a ton because maybe this will turn into more checkpoint stuff later on.
Right?
Okay.
Subnautica 2.
Oh, no.
We keep...
Subnautica 2.
We keep saying, like, Subnautica 2. There's been a lot of stuff about that. Well, I guess there isn't going to be any more news because everybody's lawyered up now.
Yeah.
And then there is news because stuff happens. So in this case, they have Crafton, the publisher, versus the three guys who were running
Unknown
Worlds.
The studio
That
Crafton owns.
Yes. That has been the main conflict.
Yes.
The additional they're the guys who were running Unknown Worlds have sued Crafton, and there was a bunch of stuff about that. Crafton has gone and countersued, a bunch of stuff about that. They're in the fight.
Yeah.
There's now been an additional party, Unknown Worlds itself.
The studio itself.
The studio itself. Are also adding an additional layer to this thing because they're alleging that these three guys, they are now adding to this and saying that these three the
three former bosses,
CEOs downloaded a huge amount of data that they should not have had right before they left. Basically,
I see. Like stuff that's internal data to Unknown Worlds. Whether they haven't said anything about whether it's all Subnautica files or whether there's other stuff in there or what it all means, but
it's data that belongs to.
It's data that belongs, and so like if they are leaving, if they get fired, or now that they're fired and they start up another company, that's privileged stuff that they wouldn't be able to use, that they shouldn't have.
Right.
So Charlie Cleveland, Ted Gill, and Max McGuire, who are the three guys, they said Cleveland reportedly downloaded 72,000 files from Unknown Worlds Google Drive, company share folders, and almost certainly was stopped in progress. His last download occurred just 8 minutes before the company shut off his system access.
Wow.
A preliminary review indicates that the files include reams of sensitive, proprietary, and confidential information, including game design files and Subnautica concepts. McGuire downloaded 99,000 files.
Almost 100,000, actually.
Yeah. Hundreds of files related to Moonbreaker, the game that they were working on and didn't.
In 2024.
In 2024, didn't go too well. So
I saw a thing that said that they
Gil allegedly, Gil, and the other guy, downloaded a full and complete copy of his Unknown Worlds email account, which triggered an IT alert, and then he did it again.
It's
after
funny.
he was informed of his imminent termination. So it's like, it's one of those things where I'm sure their argument for it would probably be like, well, this is, our work. We don't want it to be
Well,
lost.
or in the case of an email account, that's like a backup thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the case of an email account too, where I'm kind of like, if you feel that there's something hinky going on and you're like, I need to cover my ass, then you might be like, I need to download all of these emails so that if something comes up, I can point to, no, I have the emails.
I have the email.
You guys didn't just delete my
yeah.
entire account and you didn't do
or
a whole bunch of
lock
other
me
stuff.
out of it,
Yeah.
but now I have a thing.
Because
yeah.
now that there's lawsuits where so many people are suing each other, there is this. I understand where that guy's coming from, where if it's like, I need to keep all this stuff because I know I'm going to need to have it for something bad happening. It's like, that's kind of the worst time. Also,
an email account could also have a bunch of other information that he's not supposed to
there's
keep
that
as
too.
well. But there is that kind of thing where like, oh, that sounds like something I might try to do if I'm like going out the door. Is like, I'm going to grab all my emails because then I have copies of the things that went wrong that I'm engaging in.
Yeah. Because I would be
the other files are definitely more of I guess I worked on those maybe, or
I want them for my portfolio would be the excuse you would make. But it's like, you're also the CEO or the managing director or the designer, and it's like, you aren't working at that lower level where that's you're not generating that stuff.
That
Those
wouldn't
other people are generating that
I wouldn't
stuff.
believe a portfolio thing so much as a I've decided these are mine.
Yeah.
And as Maricat says, like at that point, that's already into like lawyer stuff. So anyway, and the sort of slightly the interesting aspect about this is so there's Crafton versus these guys, but this is unknown. Theoretically, this is Unknown Worlds who has issued this cease and desist,
right?
Independently from Crafton. Whether you believe they are actually acting independently from Crafton, that's a big question, obviously.
Yeah.
It looked, from a PR standpoint or whatever, it probably looks better that their former company is the one that's doing this legal action as opposed to Crafton. So, who knows?
Yeah, I have my misgivings about the idea that Unknown Worlds, like the developers at Unknown Worlds, are like, hey, wait a minute, they went ahead and did all this stuff, and we should ban, hey, low-level art person, hey, 5 people who work on developing monsters for the whatever, let's get together and sue them. It's like, that shit's not happening. But whoever has been installed by Crafton to operate Unknown Worlds at this point is probably the one who's like, we're leading the charge on this against the former bosses.
What they say is that like this the damage that this has caused is to Unknown Worlds, not to Crafton. So it makes sense that they will be the one.
That just sue, it would all be handled by the studio. Yeah, I could see why, but.
Don't worry, they probably share the same lawyers.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those things that there's a lot of stuff back and forth, and it's not necessarily, there's that sort of knee-jerk, big company, individual people, and then you start sort of going like, well, maybe it's not so much that, and then you sort of go, well, maybe it's the thing. It's a complicated one.
When a lot of bad things happen, you can expect a lot of people to take, like, on both sides of an issue or multiple sides of an issue, to all do things that might not be the recommended.
I will say though, we still haven't had that thing where, well, yeah, this is just like another lawsuit being added on. We still haven't had the thing where it's like a lawsuit started and now you see a bunch of people being like on their social media saying a bunch of slanderous things. They're not doing that as far as we know.
No, although they don't seem to be maybe that acting in that smart a way.
Yeah. But
we'll see.
I did think it was funny in the article, though, they also said when Unknown Worlds cut off their access, they also issued a statement to them saying, you need to return everything that you took. And to me, I'm like, if I leave a company and I walk out like with like, I don't know, there's like a baseball on my desk or something, and I walk out with that baseball on my desk and it's company property, I can understand turning around and being like, please return that baseball to your desk because that's what's supposed to be on your desk. But saying, hey, that thing that you made a copy of, we need that back. So
yeah,
the
that's
thing
a
you
little bit
still
weird.
have?
Yeah. Well.
But yeah.
Thing you're not supposed to have, I guess is...
We need you to delete it, and we need you to prove that it's gone. It's like, you need me to prove the absence of something? That's also difficult.
Well, yeah. Just don't let Lur know that you're going to take that baseball.
Yeah.
That you definitely have on your desk, Beach.
Don't give a shit about baseball. Just give a shit about the Blue Jays.
So anyway, as they say with was it the Aliens versus Predator? Whoever wins, we still lose because this is probably going to put a damper on the whole Subnautica 2 thing.
Yeah.
Which makes me sad.
Yeah.
Anyway, the final thing that I wanted to talk about is a nice little story.
Great.
That that came up.
Is there puppies and rainbows and sunshine?
Not puppies, but fun little creatures.
Oh, okay.
So we talked a little bit about No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the No Man's Sky, the whole thing, right? Is the whole world, the whole universe is algorithmically generated.
Mm-hmm.
So you end up with all sorts of different crazy things that could happen.
Fantastical creatures.
Fantastical creatures.
They're also getting dragon bugs, aren't they?
And all this different stuff. And sometimes things work out that you end up with a beautiful planet full of large tentacle aliens that you can ride and pet. Here, let me make this.
Oh yeah, definitely show off the whole thing.
Let me make this full screen here, so you can really get an idea of the aliens that this person found on this planet.
Oh, majestic.
You see, you can gently pat it. You can give it a treat. But you can also ride it.
It's just a tiny dick, right?
It's not tiny.
I mean, to scale.
You could hop along on it.
Did this get published today?
Yesterday.
Oh shit!
Oh, you're like, I would have used that for a story.
I would have used that for a story. It's even if it was yesterday, we would have missed it. It's fine.
Yeah, because I feel like that would have at least been the coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, these little guys are not new. And new to us. Team Flared Base.
Somebody also posted that. By the way, it's also got a hole
it's
in the bottom.
double-ended.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
The universe, it has so many different amazing creatures.
Yeah. What's Spock's thing? IDIC, infinite diversity and infinite combinations.
Yeah.
I think, Beach, if you could do a sex point next week.
The thing is like in the back of my mind since it came to the Switch, I've always kind of been like, I'd like to fool around on No Man's Sky because I think it's just a really fun, interesting, like weird thing. But I don't know if the gameplay loop is my jam. And seeing this, it's like, oh, this is even funnier. But
I've been very tempted by No Man's Sky on several occasions. Ironically, the thing that annoys me the most when I've tried to play it is there's too many people.
The problem too is like the stuff that you see that gets posted to the internet is probably such a small slice of like just stuff that works out. So that pull that you have to go check it out might end up being nothing like what you're hoping for.
I see there's an option to induce egg, wrote one player on the subreddit. Whatever you do, don't collect milk. But it was too late. I did. It squirted sticky honey all over me, Lamau. They even shared a screen capture as proof. Honey glands empty, 30 minutes.
Well,
Jesus. Cool. How weird.
Yep.
Love it. Love it so much. All right. We got to put this in whatever the sequel to Outer Worlds is going to be.
But yeah, there is this aspect that like, it was part of my like, after beating Subnautica, I was like looking for other games that were like base building and survival and stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm here on this, my ship has crash landed. I'm here on this planet. I got to build my ship and stuff. And
Yeah.
what's that guy flying overhead? Oh, hi, guy. And then there's just like random people. They're not like they're AI stuff, but there's just random traders and different like things that are just sort of like around.
You're looking for
Right.
more of that solo survivor, castaway style.
Yeah, I like the kind of and apparently there was a like an event that they did at one point that where it was like the universe was like mostly empty. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. But apparently it was like a limited time event.
I would love the idea of almost a combination of the two, like in a way where it's like I'm crash landed on this planet and now I have to, like very Subnautica, right? I need to figure out how to survive here and figure out like maybe there's a mystery or whatever and stuff's going on. But at the same time, if they're like, we can't send a rescue team for whatever reason, but what we can do is we can do orbital drops. So a ship's going to fly over you in about 6 weeks and it's going to drop a thing on you.
Right.
And then whatever survives on its way down to the ocean, you can scavenge that and turn it into something. And it could just be completely random stuff being like, we decided to give you this. It's like, great, thanks. It's like, we'll be back in 6 weeks to drop more shit on you. And maybe we'll get you off here in like six months or 6 years or something.
But, and then you like, once you sort of get off the planet, you can like go to the planet and then you can like fly to, there'll be like a space station or something. You go, and that's sort of like there's like everybody's all, you know, you can go and talk to vendors and all this kind of stuff. And again, that's like, I'm like, I like the sort of, the isolation, you know, oh, I'm out here surviving by myself kind of thing.
I was gonna download Astroneer because I also felt like that might have a bit of that in there too.
Astroneer is actually really good for that. Yeah. I quite dug Astroneer, pun intended, because there's a lot of digging in it as well.
The base game is on sale on the Switch right now for like a brief period of time, and I missed the sale on the Glitch Walkers edition.
It'll
which
go
had
on
the
sale
DLC
again.
built in. Maybe I'll buy it again another time.
Astroneer is kind of a cool. It's got more story than you kind of expect. It kind of the story. You're just kind of like doing your thing and kind of building stuff and doing things, and then the story. There is actually some story that kind of kicks in, which is kind of funny.
Nice.
Anyway, thanks everybody for joining us and talking about the video game news. If you haven't seen this week's episode of ChillPoint, you should do that. It's up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/LRRVG.
Yeah. Feel free to throw in the comments some suggestions for video games where you're a solo survivor and random people don't show up to trade you things.
Yeah. The survival, there's always, I mean, I think a lot of people probably have that thing where like, I mean, Subnautica or, you know, various other games where it's like a nice game that you're like really into.
Yeah.
And then you finish it, and then like maybe a few months later, you get that itch, and you're like, I want more of that game, but that game's done now. Yeah. What's a game that's like that game? And people are like, well, there's nothing quite like it. But then it's like, you could play this game, and it's like, well, no, that's not that doesn't have the part of the game that I like.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, there's this other undersea game. It's like, no, the water wasn't the part that I liked. Anyway. Let's
goodbye.
Say goodbye. Goodbye.
Hit the Patreon.